906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Blades Bait and Tackle, your year-round connection to fishing bait enoch. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. We're going out for a fish fry and a look at mountain bikes and some tips on how to ride.
Find the bike that you like, that fits you, and you will ride. That is the perfect bike.
9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. "906 Outdoors" is brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Make it fresh, make it yours. We decided that the evening's dinner was going to be a fish fry. And we all know that fresh fish is the best, so we decided we'd do some camping and catch dinner ourselves. So we hooked up the Yellowstone, grabbed some fish breading, a can of beans, threw some beer in the cooler, and headed out. We didn't really have a plan, so we decided to stop at the local restaurant to have some breakfast and further contemplate our possibilities. We didn't really come up with a destination, but decided we'd start with a direction. If our bill ended in an odd number, we'd head west. An even number, we'd go east. West it is. As we cruised along, we concluded that we shouldn't really need to go far to catch dinner. Something in the crappie, bluegill, or perch department sounded tasty, and easy enough to make happen. Bluegills, and close by, narrowed it down to Stromberg Park on Hardwood Flooding near Hardwood. After setting up camp, which doesn't take long with this setup, we headed for the water with all the optimism necessary to complete our mission. We'd catch a few bluegills or crappies for dinner and spend the rest of the day just fishing for fun. It wasn't long and we were on the bluegills. A little small, but where there's small ones, there should be big ones, right? Wrong. Aside from one mediocre sunfish, we couldn't seem to surpass the miniature mark. The 2.5-inch bluegills were relentless. Worm eaters. But hey, we still had time. We just needed to find the spot. We just needed a few fish to make our dinner complete.
It ain't dinner, I can tell you that.
The weather was great. Nothing but blue skies. But that was going to change. The ominous sound of thunder in the background meant that Carl was right again, and rain was on its way. Each cast became more important. I could feel our fish fry dwindling away. In my head, the picture of a plate full of tasty breaded fish with a side of fries and beans was slipping away. Soon it was obvious that our fish fry was a goner. As we headed for shore, my vision of fried fish gave way to grilled hot dogs. As anyone who makes their living in the outdoors will attest, rain is just part of it. If we only went out on the sunny days, we'd spend a lot of time at home. But when you're in a canoe powered by a couple of paddles, you don't really want to get caught on the wrong side of the lake. And when your headquarters is an 11-foot camper without a canopy, well, rain sucks. So our fishing was cut short, which meant no fish dinner tonight. This also meant that our trip would now have to include another day. There's the silver lining. Eventually the rain did quit, at least for a while, which gave us a chance to relax by the fire and put together a plan for the following day. Lo and behold, my buddy Jim called. He and some friends were heading out in the morning for some walleye fishing on Portage Lake. Now, Portage Lake is a long way to go for groceries, but with a hesitant guarantee from Jim that I'd be eating walleye for dinner, I couldn't resist. Since Jim already had a boat full, and I'd be heading out in the morning before the birds started to sing, Patty decided she'd relax at the campsite and wait for me to bring home the bacon. So, at the crack of way too early, I headed for Chassel. Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works, home of Michigan's largest custom knife factory showroom. Portage Lake cuts across the Keweenaw Peninsula with access to Lake Superior on both ends. I'm here to film, I'm here to fish, but most of all, I'm here to catch dinner.
Yeah, we're out here today with my buddies Kim and Howard. Howard from the Shady Game Farm.
Yes.
And we've been lifelong buddies for hunting and fishing together. Not chartering yet, so we're just out fun fishing. So we're gonna see what we can do. We had a real nice day, I don't even want to say that, the other day, but we'll see if we can find the fish that were here the other day.
Trolling this?
Trolling, yeah. Yeah, right through the nose. Massage it out. Poke it through. Take a little piece off. Throw it in the water.
Portage Lake. It promises great fishing for pike, smallmouth,
Regularity.
perch, crappie, and of course, straight from my dinner menu, walleye.
So we're gonna run this on a board with like a number 3 split shot.
I could see it already. Bing bang, a couple of walleye, and I'd be back on the road, heading for a campfire and a beverage.
There! All right. I thought I had a bite. That on camera. We talk about being able to throw when a fish bites. Right here.
Now after the previous day of not so lunker bluegills, that perch ain't looking too bad.
At least somebody catches a fish.
That's right. You ain't gonna believe it. You know what that is? White perch.
Baby whitefish.
Whitefish don't have fins like that. Oh God, boy, it looks-
Let me take it off.
it's got a real pronounced lateral line on it.
Wonder how that would taste.
Come on, Howard. You gotta catch all the fish. I don't want to catch Oh, there is a perch. All right. Now keep that one. That's big enough to keep. Oh. That'll go along with my little pike.
Okay, maybe a nice perch dinner would work.
Dang. Way to go, Howard. Fill the box.
Now I was starting to get nervous. With my optimism at a low point, I was already trying to convince myself that tonight's hot dogs would be delicious. And then there it was.
Slow, Howard. Go slow, please. I got to get this in first. Keep coming. Just keep reeling slowly. Reel slowly.
Decent walleye.
It's actually a walleye.
It is a walleye.
Lift.
Hey! Hey! All right.
The next.
All visions of campfire hot dogs evaporated instantly. Catching fish is great, but I'll admit, all I could see was fillets.
Yeah, I hope it is too.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. Like I said, big bullet.
Lift. Lift. You got 2 lines. Lift.
Hey! Hey! Look at that baby. There's a walleye.
He had it T-boned on 2 hooks here. That's why he was coming in so hard.
I see that.
You can only keep 1 over 23 inches. This is what you want. 3 of these and 2 big jigs.
You got a big
Like a tight line now, so keep your pen.
Oh, look at that baby. Nice.
Another dinner.
There's another dinner. Nice one.
On the stern planer. It's still 20, there's 23. It's a cookie cutter.
Oh, we got another fish out here.
Another fish.
The middle one.
Good time.
Coming out, I don't want him.
Back at themselves,
Hey! Those pretty nice
Nothing
cedar.
wrong with that one.
That one's a flicker minnow. Reel. Please, lift.
Oh, there we go. Whew. Beauty.
Take my fish, give me a hug.
Nobody else was taking it, Hot Shot.
want to know what grabbed a hold of that fish.
The walleyes continued to bite. It proved to be a worthwhile trip. I'm not real picky when it comes to a fish fry, but fresh walleye is hard to beat. We eventually made it back to the dock, cleaned some fish, and I was on the road with the soon-to-be fish fry in my cooler. Before I knew it, I was back at the campsite and ready to cook. I'll shut up now and let you smell it and taste it for yourself. Well, it took more than we anticipated, but we got our fish fry. Through it all, the driving, lots of paddling, some tough fishing, a handful of snags, a pile of worms, and a bunch of rain, I certainly did my share of complaining. And Chassel may seem like a long way to go for this, but I didn't go for that. I went for this. In the end, we were eating fish. And we were eating it in the woods, by a campfire. And yes, that fish fry tasted as good as it looked. We got to spend a sunny afternoon on a gorgeous lake. I got to do some walleye fishing. Spend some time around the campfire. And we got to spend some precious time camping. 906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Christ, your Northwoods neighborhood store. I was in Delta County at the Days River Pathway Trail System, where I met up with mountain bike skills coach Lynn Wolf to talk a bit about bikes, along with some tips that might help you ride better and maybe get you started in the sport of mountain biking.
So I would really recommend that if you haven't mountain biked, consider mountain biking, consider taking a workshop, maybe an all-weekend course, or meeting with a private coach, and get yourself out into the woods, be part of nature. We don't have to be fast, we don't have to be incredibly slow. We want to be confident and enjoy what is out there and what's offered. Now let's get into the bike itself. This is what is referred to as a full suspension mountain bike. What that means is the front fork has suspension to it, and you can see we call this travel, how much the fork can go up and down. And in the case of this bike, to the rear, we have another shock. Quite often you will find a mountain bike that does not have this rear shock, but it has the front fork, and we refer to that as a hardtail. On this bike, I have a button and I can push the seat down, and we refer to this as a dropper post. Part of what everyone is going to learn today is how to lower their body weight and lower their center of gravity to keep both tires creating a base of support. This bike also is referred to as a one-by. That means I only have one sprocket in the front, but then I have 12 in the rear. You may notice also that the tires have knobs on them. So in a mountain bike, we have a variety of tires that we can utilize. This is much wider. It's not a true fat tire bike, but it is what's called a 27.5 plus. That is the diameter of the wheel. Originally, we rode on 26-inch tires. Then we went to 29ers. And then the industry realized that there are people short, like myself, who a 29-inch tire was too big, but a 27 would be perfect. The group today is going to learn how to be in a rider-ready position, as we call it. So soft knees, soft elbows, and whether we are sitting on the seat or we are out of the saddle, as we call it, proper hand position is key here. We're going to be teaching what we call covering the brakes. So only one finger on the brakes at all time, and that gives us plenty of power, and we leave 3 fingers to control our handlebars. We're also going to put a lot of focus on how to look ahead in the trail. We never want to look exactly in front of us. We want to look beyond where we're going to go. Once we've perfected that art, then we're going to take it and learn about bike body separation. So the ability to move the bike forward, or my body forward and the bike back, the bike going side to side, and the ability to leave room when the seat is down and we're standing for the bike to move up and down underneath us. So quite often when you see riders, you think that they're moving all over. They're really quite stable. It's the bike that they're allowing to move underneath them. So whether it be forward, back, side to side, or up and down. Other things that we're going to learn today is how to properly brake. So we want to do what's called brake modulation, pulling the brake in easy and not doing it quick and fast, although there are times that we want to do that, and learning to use both brakes. We are under the impression we should only use our rear brake, but our front brake is what gives us the power to actually stop the bike from moving. We're going to perfect the art of shifting so that we are kind to our chains. We've heard this idea of please don't shift under load because it puts tension on the brake. So what I'm going to do, put a little pressure on my pedal. Notice that there is no movement to the chain. That's a very tense chain, and you're going to snap it if you try to shift right now. When I relieve the tension, notice the chain has mobility up and down and forward and back. This is while pedaling when we want to shift. Let's talk pedals for a brief moment. I have what we call flat pedals on there. There's a little bit of a peg which helps to anchor my shoes down and gives it a little bit more traction. You also see people ride what's called a clipless pedal. Sounds backwards because your shoe clips into the pedal and holds you in position. Both of them are acceptable for riding. You do what is most comfortable to you. The flip side is if you go to a flat pedal, you will learn how to better manage your weight and use that base of support when you're riding versus being clipped in and potentially cheating, but having more pull power as you go up hills. Keep in mind, bikes have changed. So how we ride has changed. The ability to drop a seat down and get it out of our way, the fact that we've increased the size of the tires, we have simplified the ability to shift, and we've actually improved our ability to brake, changes how we ride. I really emphasize, even if you've been riding for 20 years, if you're getting a newer bike, go to a workshop or work with a skills coach and learn how to ride your new bike and be most efficient on it. One of the comments that's always put out there is, what is the ideal bike to ride? Is it a full suspension? Is it a hardtail? Do I need a $1,000 bike or do I need an $8,000 bike? What you need is the bike that you're going to ride. The one that fits you. Maybe you should go to a bike shop and get properly fitted, but find the bike that you like, that fits you, and you will ride. That is the perfect bike.
Feel free to join us on Facebook or visit us at 906outdoors.com. And while you're there, be sure to sign up to get on the 906 Outdoors email list. We'll send you an occasional email with tips, recipes, and more. You'll also be eligible for giveaways just for being on the list. Thanks for watching, and we invite you to join us next week for another adventure right here on 906 Outdoors.